The murder of Fawn Cox. Who killed Fawn Cox? For over 3 decades, her murder remains a baffling mystery. But now the truth has finally come to light. In this video, we'll explore the shocking details of Fawn's case, from the brutal crime scene to the long-awaited breakthrough that solved the cold case. But even with the killer behind bars, the questions still remain. Was justice truly served? And what secrets still lurk in the shadows of this tragic story? Watch now to find out. Fawn Cox's early life paints a picture of a young girl born into a modest family in Kansas City, Missouri. On March 24, 1973, her family lived in a small 2-story house in a challenging, rough residential neighborhood where life wasn't easy. Despite the challenges, Fawn's upbringing was characterized by a sense of responsibility and strong connection to her family. As the eldest of her 2 sisters, Fawn assumed a pivotal role within her family dynamic. She took on responsibilities beyond her age, assisting her parents in caring for her younger siblings. This early sense of responsibility and commitment to her family showcased Fawn's maturity and dedication. Fawn's life was centered around her family and deeply rooted in her faith. She was actively involved in her church, suggesting a strong spiritual foundation that likely influenced her values and character. This involvement in her faith community also hints as a support system outside her immediate family. Additionally, Fawn had personal interests that brought joy to her life. She enjoyed swimming, a hobby that likely gave her a sense of freedom and relaxation in her spare time. Her willingness to work part-time at a local amusement park at 16 speaks to her determination to contribute to her family's income during summer vacations, reflecting her sense of responsibility and work ethic. Fawn's early life is a testament to her resilience, maturity, and commitment to her family, making her tragic fate all the more heart-wrenching. It provides a glimpse into the backdrop against which her life unfolded and the foundation upon which her story is built. On the fateful night of July 26, 1989, the stage was set for a tragic event in the Cox family home. Fawn, a 16-year-old girl, had just completed her part-time shift at a local amusement park, marking the end of a long day's work. The time was around 10 p.m. when her mother and younger sister came to pick her up. The decision for her mother and sister to pick her up was practical, as public transportation at that late hour would have been inconvenient and potentially unsafe. Upon returning home, Fawn's actions were those of a typical teenager with responsibilities. She headed straight to bed, knowing that she had another early morning shift awaiting for her. However, this night would be far from ordinary. What made this particular evening stand out was the unusual sleeping arrangement within the household. Fawn, who usually shared her room with her sisters, was alone on the 2nd floor of their small house. Her sister Amber, who was just a year younger, was already babysitting from a neighbor. This left Fawn isolated on the upper floor, facing a sweltering summer night with no relief. The decision by her sister Felicia to sleep on the coolest 1st floor made sense, given the oppressive heat. The only functioning air conditioner was located downstairs, and their parents also chose to sleep on the 1st floor to escape the discomfort of the summer night. Little did they know that this shift in sleeping arrangements would unknowingly play a significant role in the tragic events that would transpire at night. This seemingly ordinary night took a horrifying turn when Fawn's life was brutally taken in her bedroom, and the mystery surrounding her murder would haunt her family and the investigators for over 3 decades. The discovery of Fawn's lifeless body was a harrowing moment for her family, forever etched in their memories. The morning following her night at work, the family was abruptly awakened by the persistent blaring of the alarm clock in Fawn's room. It was unusual and unsettling, as Fawn was typically prompt about turning off her alarm. This seemingly innocuous detail would later become a crucial part of the investigation. Filled with concern and a growing sense of unease, Fawn's mother and younger sister decided to investigate the source of the alarm. They went upstairs, likely expecting to find Fawn asleep or ill. However, what they encountered was far more horrifying than anything they could have imagined. They were met with a nightmarish scene as they entered Fawn's room. Fawn, just 16 years old, lay lifeless on her bed. The visible bruising on her neck immediately raised alarm bells. Clearly, she had been subjected to violence. The shock and grief that indulged her family at the moment could hardly be comprehended. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, Fawn's family promptly called the police. Evidently, they were dealing with a murder, and their immediate response was essential to preserving the crime scene and launching an investigation into the tragic death of their beloved daughter and sister. Solving the murder of 16-year-old Fawn Cox presented the police with a complex and daunting task. Despite the crime taking place within the confines of a small house, several factors added layers of difficulty to the investigation. Firstly, the house's poor soundproofing played a significant role in obscuring any sounds of the crime from reaching the Fawns' family members. Even though the crime occurred just a few rooms away, the loud first-floor air conditioner effectively masked any noise that may have arisen during the incident. This unfortunate circumstance meant that none of Fawn's relatives heard any signs of the struggle or distress that she may have endured that fateful night, making it incredibly challenging for the police to piece together the events leading to her murder. The only unusual behavior reported that night came from their family's pregnant poodle. The anxious behavior of the pet manifested through incessant barking and was initially attributed to its pregnancy. This unexplained anxiety, while puzzling, didn't raise immediate alarm bells for the family, who had no reason to suspect a sinister presence in their home. Despite these formidable obstacles, the police made vital discoveries within Fawn's room. Clues included short hairs, bloodstains, and traces of semen on her bedsheet. These findings pointed directly to the violent nature of her death and were crucial for forensic analysis. Additionally, the investigation revealed the theft of several items from the house, including radios, a Nintendo game console, and a stereo recorder. The peculiarity of the case lay in the fact that some of these stolen items were found outside the house, suggesting a hasty and confusing exit by the perpetrators. These early discoveries set the stage for a long and challenging investigation, with the police piecing together every available clue to unravel the mystery surrounding Fawn Cox's tragic murder. In the aftermath of Fawn Cox's murder, the police arrested 3 teenagers as potential suspects approximately a month after the crime occurred. Their initial lead came from a witness who identified these teenagers as individuals of interest. However, this witness later recanted their testimony, casting doubt on the accuracy of their identification. One of the key challenges faced by the investigators was the need for advanced DNA testing available. In 1989, while they had some evidence, including short hairs, bloodstains, and traces of semen found in Fawn's room, the technology of the time couldn't have definitely linked these samples to the suspects. DNA profiling was in infancy, and the results were less conclusive than modern forensic techniques. The case took a significant turn when one of the arrested teenagers admitted to breaking into the house during the investigation. However, this confession was later retracted, adding to the case's complexity. With the absence of concrete DNA evidence and the uncertainty surrounding the confession, the case against the teenagers weakened, eventually leading to their release. This turn of events left the investigators in a challenging position, struggling to find conclusive evidence to tie the suspects definitely to the crime, and leaving the murder of Fawn Cox unsolved for decades. In the early 2000s, advances in DNA forensics offered a glimmer of hope in the decades of unsolved case of Fawn Cox's murder. The police uploaded DNA samples collected from the crime scene into the CODIS database, a repository of genetic profiles from individuals involved in serious crimes. Unfortunately, no matches were initially found, leaving the case in limbo. However, a turning point came in 2018 when Fawn's younger sister Amber decided to share crucial information about the crime online. This revelation attracted significant attention from both public and the media, reigniting interest in the case. To expedite the investigation, the family launched a fundraising campaign to secure the necessary funds for advanced DNA testing. Additionally, they offered a substantial financial reward as an incentive for anyone with information that could lead to the killer's apprehension. These efforts would ultimately prove instrumental in bringing closure to the long-lasting mystery surrounding Fawn Cox's tragic murder. In late 2020, a crucial turning point in the investigation occurred when the FBI provided funding for re-examining DNA samples collected from the crime scene itself. This re-examination yielded a stunning, shocking revelation. A match was found for the semen sample discovered in Fawn Cox's room, and it pointed directly to an unexpected individual, Fawn Cox and Donald Cox. This discovery was especially shocking because Donald was never considered a suspect in the case. Until then, the investigation had focused on other leads, including the 3 teenagers initially arrested and later released. The revelation of Donald's DNA match opened up a new dimension to the case, highlighting the complexity and unpredictability of the criminal investigations, even when they spanned decades. This breakthrough ultimately provided a crucial piece of the puzzle, bringing the family closer to closure while raising new questions about the involvement of others in the crime. Donald Cox had a troubled history and had been in and out of legal trouble for years. He died from an overdose in 2006, and his DNA was preserved during a previous investigation into his suspicious death. The police, however, closed the case without charging the 3 original suspects. The family accepted that, despite the evidence suggesting the involvement of the 3 teenagers in the burglary, they may have never have witnessed the murder. Donald's DNA provided a conclusive link to Fawn's killer, but with his passing, justice was not served in the conventional sense. The 31-year-old to solve the murder of Fawn Cox is a story of perseverance, DNA advancements, and unexpected twists. While the family finally knows the identity of the killer, the case remains a stark reminder of the challenges and complexities solving cold cases. Fawn's memory lives on, and her family's quest for justice serves as a testament to the enduring pursuit of truth and closure in the face of tragedy. Thanks again for watching today's video. Stay tuned.